we realized we had to stop it last spring. We were too close to the day of service, and the pandemic hit, and the right thing was to do was cancel it. So we thought that was such a loss. All these students, we probably had the biggest number of students to volunteer. And so we took that and harnessed the energy of a committee of students who spent all summer Zooming, and it was the first time a lot of them had Zoomed, and us too. And we created a virtual day of service in the fall. And what we realized is we don't need just one day. We did a whole project. So it was for 3 months. It started on Labor Day, and it went to Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And we engaged about 50 students in that course of time, being pen pals. The big one was writing letters and making cards and artwork for cheer, and that was for Mary Washington hospice patients and residents of a senior living community, because we all knew they were not getting any visitors, and so it was really critical. And it went well. We provided stamps and stationery and whatever the students needed, and we relied on the U.S. mail, and we relied on people picking things up. So it went. We got some really different volunteers too that maybe would have not done a traditional in-person day of service. So we've now, as we're planning the fall day of service, it's going to be September 11th of this year. 9/11.
Yeah.
We are going to have many virtual opportunities as well, and be ready to be in small groups. We may not meet as a big group, but we'll have a variety. We're going to have all summer to plan and figure out what's the best thing to do with where we are with the pandemic on 9/11.
So interesting that even with the pandemic, in some ways, service may even mean more now to the participants, because they can see during a pandemic what it meant.
Yeah, and our service really only went to two of our traditional nonprofits, 501c3s. Actually, the city of Fredericksburg, we were pen pals. JM students were pen pals for fourth graders at Lafayette. But I think the most impactful one was the cheer. Students were not used to making cards and writing letters to people they didn't know. And the artwork that we got was just stunning. So it was beautiful to see these students interested in doing it, because none of them needed service at that point, because the NHS, everything just closed down here in the city as the pandemic just was so awful. So we've really risen to how we can do things virtually, as well as smaller groups. Late September, we had a tree planting at JM. We planted 27 trees, and we were doing everything right. How many people we had there, small pods. We had siblings doing several trees together. Nobody touched. Everybody had their own space. And that was super impactful. So we're starting to come out of that, but still very cautious about what's the next steps. And one of the things that John and I have done as volunteers for our organizations that we've served all these years, and built relationships, and just to make sure as we go forward in person that there's safe things for our students to do. And so far, we're feeling like it can be done.
It's a great example that you don't have to stop. You don't have to just say we can still be safe, but we still can do things.
Yes. So we're thrilled. So we're finishing out this year. We actually have one of the students did the No More Cancer Rally. He coordinated it with several JM students. It's for St. Jude. That's the first time that's been virtual. And we have another student that's going to be doing it was cheer holidays. It used to be called Christmas in July, but it's become a cheer event that they're going to create little bags of stuff for hospice patients. So she's getting ready to launch that with helpers and other volunteers. And we also are going to be working in the JM courtyard in just about a week and a half with Tree Fredericksburg, planting a few trees and helping, awakening the courtyard for for the fall, getting it ready for the fall.
So speaking of the fall, as you look forward, what can people do to help the Calgary Leahy Day of Service moving into the fall?
Well, you can start. We're starting to advertise it. So what we'd like to do is get students signed on so that we can give them information through email. We're going to try to do that. We used to do a lot via text because we didn't have as many students. We started with just 30 students. Our first day of service was so little. So, and I could text everyone, and it was great. But
they all fit in your kitchen.
They all fit, and they all fit in our kitchen. The students that came. So we're going to be a little more coordinated in getting students ready to go, because we'll have students actually go back to school in early August. So we will have about a month to really get our groups. So it's really just kind of figuring out if they're available that day. Are you available, Ted? Is there any football game that's happening 9/11?
We'll talk.
We'll talk, yes. So it's really just signing up. We'll get the permission form out. That's all that students need. And we'll be serving our 7 nonprofits: Tree Fredericksburg, Friends of the Rappahannock, Downtown Greens, Fairy Godmother Project, City of Fredericksburg, Lois Ann's Hope House, and Mary Washington Hospice. So, another thing that we've done through virtual service is we supported a walk, an awareness walk. It was the Brain Aneurysm Awareness Walk. And that happens to be September as well. That's the big push. So we'll be having a virtual walk that students can participate in. And that's also Fairy Godmother Projects. It's Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. So that'll be a great month to be, volunteering for FGP.
If someone wants to become a sponsor, there are always sponsorships, I'm sure.
Yes, there's in-kind sponsorships. There's we have these great shirts here that all our volunteers get, and so we provide food on the day of service, and we actually buy some supplies at Lois Ann's Hope House. We decorate it for the holidays and plant, and we also paint the student section at JM, and that might need some touching up by the paint. And then we also have an outdoor classroom at JM now, and so we actually have to keep that up every year. It's wood. So we have some expenses, but we don't have a lot, but the t-shirts is probably our biggest expense. So we love sponsors. We've had some wonderful sponsors. Jay Bryan's Tap Room. We've had Coleman Motorsports. We had White Oak Animal Hospital. We've had Susie Stone, Century 21. She was just next door right there. And Rappahannock Development Corporation came and helped us get banners for the day of service, and Black Hawk Homes. So we've had some amazing sponsors. And Fast Signs of Fredericksburg and the Fredericksburg UPS store came through with the banners. Banners was a brand new thing that we have started. So, we always have ideas. So, we'd love to get some sponsors. We'll be starting to seek the sponsors in the next month or so. So.
Logos on shirts.
And logos on shirts. Yeah, your logo will be on the shirt.
Yeah.
There's the logos here.
Yes,
there are. So here are.
As you model it for us, there you go.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get new shirts this year. We spent the money on stamps and other supplies for students. So, but we have one more service that we'll be supporting as well.
Well, it's so interesting that everything comes out of the pandemic looking different, and even the Calgary Leahy Day of Service comes out of the pandemic looking a little bit different.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be different, and I think all our students always ask us to have more things that they can get involved in. So we're hoping to have more than 7 opportunities for our students, and I'm sure we will. And they'll be in person and virtual. And it's the day of service is just from 8 to noon on that Saturday of September 11th. So we'll be figuring out what the rules are and where we are with the pandemic to determine whether we can hold an in-person event or whether it will be virtual again.